Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Replenish Me Show, where I interview powerful women to give you more strategies on how to take care of yourself, body, mind, and soul. Today, I have the honor of interviewing author, speaker, and writer, and women's empowerment coach, or women's empowerment educator, Lucy Devi Hall. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
I'm so happy you could fit us into your schedule. I know you recently released a new book, so you've been on the road with that.
Yeah.
And you're just settling back home, I think. So why don't we just start out by you telling us a little bit about your story and how you got into this amazing work.
Yeah, it goes back to in my childhood. I experienced sexual abuse from the age of 3 to when I was 17. And this was by 6 different men. As you can imagine, this left me in quite a negative state. I hated myself, I hated my body, I hated being a woman. And on top of that, my father left when I was 5 and my mother died when I was 9. So I had a lot of issues as a child. And because of that, when I was 10, I developed bulimia. Then I started to self-harm. And then I became anorexic and then bulimic, and I developed an addiction and had lots of things happening to me. And to heal myself, I was in psychiatric hospital, I was in therapy, I was in rehab, lots of different things. And doing that, when I was in the grip of bulimia, for instance, I thought there was going to be a way out. I never believed or experienced, I never thought I would experience feeling the way I feel now. And so I just want to get out to women, especially that, because a lot of women have experienced something in their past, something traumatic. It may not be as traumatic as the things I've talked about, but something's usually happened. And I want to let them know that it's possible to move beyond that. It's possible not even just to survive, but it's possible to move beyond surviving to a point where you can thrive and you can have a happy life, you can have a great relationship, you can create your dream job, like all these things that sound, sometimes you might hear them and think, okay, yeah, just that's kind of like a notion. But it's possible, and that's really what I want to let women know. So that's what motivated me to start this kind of work.
Yeah, it's very important that we realize that no matter how traumatic our life experiences are, definitely we can rise above. And it's important for women to get that message from someone like you, right? As opposed to someone who hasn't had that dramatic or traumatic as a past. So, because they can see themselves,
Yeah, exactly.
Really,
that's why I speak so honestly about the things that have happened, because I don't feel ashamed. I used to feel ashamed, but then I realized it wasn't my fault. Like, I was a victim of these things, and why should I walk around with shame? So that's another thing that I want to get across to women is, you don't have to feel ashamed of things that have happened or your body or whatever, it's like, let all that go. Because I think we spend a lot of energy hating our bodies or controlling our bodies or, all these things, people pleasing, all these kind of things that women do. And actually, when you can release all that energy, you can put it to good use. You can create the life you want. That's really what's happened to me. Like taking all that energy back from hating my body and cutting myself and taking drugs and whatever else, turning that energy from negativity to positivity has transformed my life.
Yes, and it really shines through. You're a really bright light. I mean, I can actually see it and I feel it from a distance.
Wow, thank you.
So with that, I want to kind of lead into, how did you get into this book project? And it wasn't just your own book this time, right? It's Histology. So tell me a little bit more about that.
I for some reason I visited it's a woman called Crystal Andrus Morissette. I looked at her website. She may be the #1 coach training school in Canada, but she trains internationally. I was just drawn to her work, and I was reading this, and I saw that she wanted to create this book of 30 women who have all had some kind of story where they've overcome adversity. She wanted to create this project. and I saw it on her website, and I remember I looked at it. Instantly, my negative mind went, oh, you're not good enough, you can't do that. So then I just kind of ignored it. And maybe like 4 weeks later, I went back to it and I saw that, oh my God, it's the last day to apply. So I was like, okay, negative mind, I'm going to put you there. I'm going to just do this. And I sat there for about an hour just filling in this application form. And a week later, she wrote back to me and she said, your story has to be in the book. It's so powerful and women have to hear this. And I think there was over 100 women that applied, and out of that, 30 of us got picked. So it was exciting, and also because her previous books and her previous work has been on Oprah, so it was a big deal, really. So I was very proud of myself, and I was very happy that I didn't go with my negative mind, that like, oh, I can't do this, I'm not good enough, because it's still there, it's still there. Just practice not listening to it.
So let's talk about negative talk for a minute, right? That negative inner chatter really does pull women down a lot. So what are some of the strategies you use? Like, you briefly talked to us, but like, you must have to go through this a couple of times a day. I know I do. So what are some of the strategies you use to overcome your negative self-talk?
I'd probably say there's 3 strategies. One is I do something called emotional release, and that's what I learned at Humaniversity. And it's actually giving space to the negative part, because we all have it and it doesn't go away. Even, the more enlightened you become, you have this part that thinks negatively. So it's giving that part space. And I do that by, with a cushion, I get angry and I vocalize all that stuff. I let it come out of me, because once it's out, it's kind of like, okay, right, let's move until the next time, And if I'm in a space where I can't make some noise, then I'll just journal it out. I can write it out. And then from doing that, the third thing is practicing, I call it the turn, practice the turn. And for me, it's from left to right. So it's right now, okay, I'm in negativity, turn to positivity, just do something, anything different, whether it's go for a walk, have a cup of tea, pick up the phone and speak to someone, it can be anything, have an apple, cook something. It's just doing something different from what you normally do. And that is such a simple thing, and everyone can do that. So I always tell people that, it's so simple and so powerful.
I love that. That is a really good strategy. Actually, all 3 of them are, because, a lot of times people think that you can't let it out. Like, if you let that negativity out, it's going to like ricochet back at you and bring you down further, but it's not. It's just not a fact. You have to release it, because sometimes it'll get trapped in our joints, and cause problems, inflammation, and all kinds of things. So
exactly. And that I would say it's probably one of the biggest things that's helped me heal, is to actually get all the negativity out of myself, because I had, as you can imagine, like being abused, and some of the abusers actually told me it was my fault. I started to believe that it was my fault, it's my body, I'm a bad person, and I had all this stuff. And I just spent years getting all this out, taking time to get angry at them, angry at myself, just moving it out of my body. And I mean, some people believe there's a connection. I believe there's a connection. I had precancerous cells in my cervix, and I had a lump in my breast, which I think is definitely connected to the fact that I was abused, because I was hating myself as a woman, and these 2 parts of my body are, my womanhood, and I was hating them. And once I stopped doing that, it's like my body feels completely different.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because people don't make that connection between our thoughts and our negative energy and manifesting illness in our bodies. And there have been studies to actually prove that that's true. So that's amazing. I'm glad that you were able to release that also. Wow.
Yeah, so am I.
I didn't know that part of your story. That's really powerful.
Yeah, it's funny when I start talking to people, because I feel like there's just so much there. I don't actually realize it myself. It's like when I was doing this book project, I was working with the editor. She said, you have to write a whole book, because there's just so many things that you've gone through that will help a lot of women. So that's the next thing I'll do at some point.
Yes, I was wondering about that. I would love to see your full story in a book. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll let you know when it happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit more about the transformation that you help women with in your some of your workshops that you do. What your website is Deeply Woman, right?
Yeah, deeplywoman.com. I would say the biggest thing, I give women a space to experience their emotions. And women are, in general, I mean, I talk in general here, women were brought up not to feel our anger. So we stuff it down. We're brought up to please.
Yeah.
So we stuff down our boundaries. I didn't like you doing that, but we don't say it, we push it down. So I actually give women a space to really unleash all that and to go to experience every emotion, to experience sadness, to experience joy, to experience your anger, like to allow yourself to be this full range, this human with a full range of emotions. And like when you can express your anger, for me, what I believe is your anger is connected to your hara, which is connected to your power, which is connected to your ability to respect your boundaries, to set your boundaries, to go, this is me. And that when women can do that, when women can own their own boundaries and say, okay, this is me, that's you, I like that, I don't like that, yes, I want to do that now, no, I don't, that affects everything. You know, it's such a powerful strength to have, an ability to be able to say, yes, I want to do that, no, I don't want to do that, right now, you know. So it's like getting them in contact with this power so they can speak their truth, so that they can start to create the life that they want, you know. So, and it's also, it's taking them, it's redirecting, as I said earlier, it's redirecting their power from, I mean, if you listen to a lot of women talking about their bodies, go, oh, I'm not thin enough, I'm not this enough. It's like, well, hold on a minute. How many hours a day are you thinking like that? Imagine you took that power and energy and put it into, I want to create a business, or I want to learn piano, or I want to, you know, travel the world or whatever. So that's the main reason. That's the main way I help women.
Wow. So I like the boundary work. Let's really talk about that. Let's like dive into that a little bit, because I think it's completely related to communication and speaking your truth and the self-talk, right? Because the self-talk comes from what we allow, right? And we allow based on not setting firm boundaries, and we allow by not speaking our truth in the moment. So like, give an example of something that someone could implement today.
The simplest thing I think is to, well, I mean, it depends. If you can make noise in your house, I think it's great to just take 5 minutes, you know, take a pillow or a cushion or something like that, and even write down, you could get a piece of paper and write on that paper a belief that you have, like, I'm not good enough, and just sit there and look at that belief and go, you know what, no, that's not true. You know, rip up the paper and bash the pillow, you know, and feel that power you have, and feel actually, oh, hold on a minute, I'm in control, not that belief. And you can do that about beliefs. You can even do it with, you know, maybe your boss at work has said something that upset you. You can do it with something like that. So you're actually allowing this energy to move through you. That's a simple thing to do. If you can't do that, or you feel uncomfortable doing that, is to journal that. What it is free associate. So you would say that belief, I'm not good enough. You start to free associate how you feel about that belief. Like, really, don't censor, don't start to think, oh, I can't say that, because no one's going to hear.
Right.
Don't show anybody this. It's for you. So just let it out, you know, all those words that you don't normally use or whatever, just let it out, and then at the end you can just say thank you, rip it up and put it in the bin, you know, and then just take a moment of silence and just feel yourself, feel your heart, feel your power that you've taken that position. Yeah, so
and that's a really important point that you're saying, the writing, because I'm just gonna, like, a little bit sidebar here. For about a year, I journaled online. Like, I had a document that I was writing in, and I'm gonna tell you what, things started accumulating. It's not the same. There's a very important element of pen or pencil to paper, and seeing it with your eyes, and some people even say saying it with your mouth, kind of like what you mentioned, that those parts have to be heavily involved, and you got to push back from the keyboard and actually use a writing utensil and paper. And even better, some people say, get like a special journal, something that you will really really want to go to and look forward to putting your heart into, so that you can release those things.
Yeah. For me, there's an important step in healing, and that is expression. However that you do that, whether you're bashing a pillow, whether you go for a run, whether you scream, whether you write, there's something about letting it out of your body, letting it move through your body. I think this research has been done that an emotion lasts something like between 90 seconds and 3 minutes. But what happens is we don't allow that out, we just stuff it into our body. So if you think about it, you've got years of unexpressed emotion stuffed down. So you're like using all this energy to control it. So once you start to let that out, you're freeing up your energy, you're freeing up space inside for good things, So it's really important to, whatever way works for you, it's really important to find a way of expressing.
Yeah, absolutely. So now you've been traveling for your book tour, but do you travel for your coaching business and your speaking business?
Mostly it's just been in the UK so far, but I'm open to travel. I mean, with the book, I went to Canada, which was great. So I would love to travel, that'd be a dream come true, to be honest with you.
Okay, that would be great. I want to ask you on a personal level, as a woman in business, what is one of the most difficult things that you've experienced?
You mean in myself or with someone else, or?
Okay, I guess maybe we can make that two parts. So entrepreneurs have things that they have to overcome, right?
Yeah.
There's that piece. And then there's other things that people have tried to push you towards or say you couldn't do, so let's make it two parts. Yeah.
I think the thing is, it's kind of all connected, but within myself, it was feeling I have the right to be a powerful woman. And because sometimes, if I come all the way out, people don't like it. It's like, a woman that speaks her truth can be judged as a bitch, whereas a man that speaks his truth is like a strong, powerful man. So I had to kind of allow myself to go, okay, I'm going to come out and people can judge me and it's okay. I had to allow myself that space and freedom. And then I have the second part of the question, I have had people kind of not be so happy for my success. And I can understand it, because I know that when people are changing around you, it kind of destabilizes you, because it starts to bring up things in you where like, well, I'm not quite so happy with my job, or I'm not quite so happy with my life. So in a way, I expected that. But with some people, I was surprised than with others. Some friends that I thought would be happy for me who weren't. So that was quite a surprise. But it was also expected, really, that some people would have a reaction.
Yeah. So I guess on that note, how much has your inner circle shifted since you've started being more successful, or not even successful, but since you've really stepped into your power?
Yeah, it's a good question. I was actually on a call yesterday with some old friends. We have a monthly meeting, a Zoom meeting. And there was two of them that were putting themselves down, saying, oh, it's really hard to see you, following your dreams and creating books and doing this and doing that. And I said, look, I can coach you. I can coach you if you want these things. You don't have to sit and go become negative. I can coach. I'm happy to support you with it. So there isn't anybody that I'm not in contact with. I'm still in contact with everybody, I would say, but maybe not as much. And I definitely have more. I have an entrepreneurial kind of gang of friends now, because I love hearing about their stories and what they've experienced and their wins and what. So that's really great. Like having that. Because I feel that I also, for me, it's important to have people that are further on in the path.
Yes.
You know, because I still need to be inspired and still like need to go, oh, really? Keep going? Okay, I'm going to keep going, you know, because I'll sometimes have my low moments, and it's great when I see them going, oh, I just did this. No.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. That's great. And that is power in itself, to still be able to stay connected to your roots, and want to help people to rise above without letting it pull you down. You know, that speaks to your power in itself. And it's something that we are all capable of if we allow ourselves, right? We don't, you know, a lot of times people think that they have to burn bridges so that they can stay in a certain place. But truly, truly, once you've reached a certain point, or even while you're trying to get to that point, you know, it's something you can do.
Yeah. I think it's a great point. I would, anyone that's watching this is just to expect, if you're changing and growing, you're going to destabilize what's been the norm. It's just, it's part of it. Some people will be happy, some people won't be happy, but just keep going. You know, it's like, in the end, you shining your light is going to affect them. You know, they're going to rise. If they want to rise, they'll rise because they see you doing it, and you have to shine your light. That's what's inspiring to other people. You know.
Yeah. So, how do you channel your passion? I'm sure there's like, when you work with so many different women, I'm sure a lot of stuff comes up for you. And I know for myself, I little bit have ADHD. I'm like, oh, I can do this, I can do that. So like, how do you like keep it like focused?
Something I just started practicing was like to switch off. There's no work after 7 o'clock.
Ah, nice.
Because it's really tempting when your mind can be very sneaky, isn't it? You're actually, your passion is your job, so you can do it all the time.
Yes.
But that's what causes burnout. Yeah. And I was starting to, you know, I would see at night, and maybe I'd get a headache, and I was thinking, why am I doing that? And I realised I needed to have that. Okay, now it's time to play, whatever that is. And I come to appreciate Netflix and box sets. I used to judge myself for this. I used to think, you can't sit and watch a box set, but no, it's important to watch a box set.
Yeah.
Yeah, and something that's nice, we're laughing, because that's the other thing for me, is to have fun. Fun is so important, and I think it's, you know, a lot of the time it's on the back burner, or we don't even think about it. Yeah. But you know, laughter, it creates good feelings in your body, and it kind of rejuvenates, and that's really important. So I like to have fun, and luckily my husband and I, we have a lot of fun. We're just very silly together, really. And we both have done improvisation courses.
Oh, wow.
Just when we're hanging out, we kind of automatically go into these characters and like act these things out. So that's what I do in my spare time.
That is so fun. And that's great that your life partner, you know, your husband can do that with you. So what would you say to someone who's on this journey and they don't have the support of their husband?
That's a good question. It depends if the person is just not supporting them, or whether they actually don't like what they're doing. I think it connects to what we've talked about, is to express in some way, express the heart, because I imagine it would hurt you if your partner doesn't support you or puts you down or whatever. So express that, whether it's journaling, whether it's, you know, a vocalization, get that out and keep going. You know, you have the right to shine, and you're not going to be happy if you don't allow yourself to shine. And then also, don't try and make them like it. That's the other thing, because that's just, you're banging your head off the wall. You can't change someone else. Just keep shining, keep shining. Get people around you that do want to support you. There's loads of groups and Facebook groups. There's loads, you know, maybe there's networking places in where you live. So find or create the circle of friends and support that you need, and just focus on that. Focus on your own growth, and then at some point they will come round or they won't come round. But in the end, it doesn't really matter, as long as you keep going and find that support from somewhere else.
That's true. That's true. Because, yeah, definitely as you keep shining your light, they'll come around, or if they find that they can't, or you find that they can't, then, you know, that you deal with that.
Yeah,
Or you
exactly.
deal with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, how can, do you have any upcoming events? Is your book tour over, or?
Yeah, I will be. I'm just finding a place in London. Possibly it's going to be in a bookstore to do a little book signing for some people.
Okay.
Well, it was going to be little, but it seems to be growing and growing and growing.
Oh, good.
So that's going to be happening that'll be April. And then also I'm going to be doing my 1-day event, Unleash Your Inner Fire. That's
Ah,
for women only. And that's so much fun. You get a chance to really like get angry and cry and laugh and play and sing and dance and like everything. So that's a lot of fun, and that's going to be in April as well. I haven't finalized the dates, but check my website for that.
okay. And so your website is going to be below this. The link to get your book is
Okay, fantastic.
below the YouTube video and the podcast link. And what again? And wait a minute. Why is your stuff happening in April? I can't get over to London in April.
Well, when are you coming to London? I'll just have to do it again.
I don't know. It's kind of up in the air now because another one of my friends, she's going to have something. I don't know. I might be speaking there in June.
Oh,
So there's June.
very funny you should say that, because I was talking to my friend. He's a therapist in California. He's coming in June. I've
Ah,
asked him if he wants to do a workshop together. So there you go.
okay.
I knew we were organising something to do in June.
Good. So then maybe we can meet up. That would be lovely. You know, I love to always have an opportunity to squeeze my guests in person. So
Yeah, that would be. I'm waiting.
so one last question about your workshops. Do you do the improv and everything? Do you do the improv in person?
Do I do the improv in person?
Do you make that part of your workshop during the improvisation and those kind of things?
Well, the last workshop I did, I had a talent show, which was a lot of fun. So I supported the acts to whatever they wanted to do, whether they wanted to improvise or sing or dance or something. That was a lot. That was so much fun. At one point, we had everybody up doing an impersonation of Britney Spears. Even because it was a mixed group, had men in it as well, and there was a couple of men that were in their 50s doing the Britney Spears impersonations. It was so much fun.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. Okay, cool. So we talked about a lot of stuff, some deep stuff, some light stuff. What are the top 3 takeaways you would want our viewers and listeners to have today?
I would say number 1 is start to express. Whether that's journaling, whether that's going for a run and going to the gym, or whether it's vocalization, using a cushion, beating a cushion or something like that. But start to express, because you're going to feel better doing that. You're going to feel better. I know often you can think that it doesn't make any difference whether it's, you talk about it or write it or whatever, but it does. It makes a difference to let it out. I think that's a really important one. The second one is practice the turn. So when you see yourself doing your normal, whether it's isolating or putting yourself down or whatever it is, if you see yourself doing that, do something different. And it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's just getting up and making a cup of tea, just practice that, really. And then allow yourself to shine, whatever that is, whether it's your thing is singing or dancing, or whether it's in your coaching business or whatever. Notice yourself when you're like holding yourself back, and just take that one step forward, just a little step, and just keep letting that light in you come out, because that's what's going to impact other people, other women, if it's women you want to work with, is when women see another woman shine, it gives them permission to shine. So just let your light out.
Yes, I love that. When women see another woman shine, it gives them permission to shine.
Yeah.
Powerful. I
Yeah.
love that so much. So I really want to thank you for your time today, and for all the work that you're doing in the world. And yeah, I'm really excited to share this interview out now. But you know, this is International Women's History Month, so
Oh, wow.
I really want to highlight, beautiful and powerful women like yourself. And so this is really, really great to have you on the show. So thank you so much, and have an amazing day.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful interview, wonderful to connect with you. And I look forward to seeing you in June.
Yes, me too.
Okay, take care.
You too. Bye now.